What's up, everybody? This is Drewid, starting our first Dark Souls playthrough here. We started off with the Hunter class and the Master's Key gift. So we're going to start out here. This is the cell you spawn in. We're going to go ahead and just check over our equipment here. Moving along here, we open the door with that key. Now there's some tips along the ground here. I do know how to play the game, but it has been a while, so I might check these just to be double sure on different things. Apparently we're going to try to walk into a door. I don't quite remember which doors you can open and whatnot, so that's why I kind of check over these things as I go. I'm going to roll around, get a feel for the controls again, try to kill this guy, miss ones I guess. No big deal, gives about 20 souls, not too bad. Now these guys that are like clamoring against the wall, you don't need to kill them, they're just more for like practice. So get a good swing or two in, get your frustration out, whatever you need to do. So we'll move along here, practice a couple running attacks. Go down in this little pit here, kill this guy for the heck of it. Not a lot of souls, but the idea is you kill a bunch of things and it adds up. So we're going to go and get to the point of this run. So the idea is this is just a playthrough of Dark Souls. Haven't played in a long time. We're going to do a little special stuff though. So I'm doing, as for armor, I'm only wearing pants. I'll probably swap the pants out over time. I'm not looking to get the most defense out of it, just as long as it looks good. Reason I'm not doing naked run is I just don't want to see my character's butt. I really don't want to walk around with a naked character. I feel like pants is just enough to be fine. And then we're going to use no shield and then whatever weapon we feel like using. So right now it's just this broken straight sword. So this part here is technically the first boss, but you don't want to fight him right away like this because he'll just kill you or you'll take forever killing him. I want to say he does more damage, he's more defensive and everything until you've come back around to fight him. You're not supposed to kill him there. If you can, that's great because you actually get his weapon and you get a good hefty amount of souls and everything. And you can actually just skip this whole tutorial section. So, picked up a shield there. We're not going to equip it though because I don't plan to use one. Moving along here, you got this archer at the top. He actually starts to run away after you get up here. Short sword, this is our first real weapon. You don't want to use the broken straight sword for very long. Like your fists are probably better after you get a few stat points. So you do want to be careful here when they do shoot arrows. They actually curve slightly, so even if you just go just to the right or left, you might still end up getting hit because they'll want to curve towards you. It feels cheap, but it's designed to make it a little more challenging and I guess, yeah, threatening. So we're going to make our way over here. Go up this stairs. There's actually a boulder trap here, but I already know about that, so we roll up to the side and dodge it. Down here is the shortcut back to the bonfire. We're going to go back and check where the boulder broke through. So with this wall here, it breaks open. You can see a little rock over there, or cannonball, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. This guy here is going to give us the Estus Flask and a key. This lets us progress. The Estus Flask is basically your healing potion. It refreshes every time you touch a bonfire. So we're going to check over here. I don't remember if there was any secrets. No. So all the items up there we can't access just yet. We'll have to come back later. Make our way up the stairs. Going to try to take down this guy up here. Doing a little dodging. Okay, so what I just did there was a parry. This is where you push aside the enemy's attack and then you can do what's called a riposte, where you do a special move, like to stab them in the gut or whatever. Didn't quite line up because he was on a higher elevation than me, which kind of glitches it a bit. Ideally, if you do a parry riposte, you want to be on level ground or almost level ground. Stairs is not where you want to fight for that kind of thing. But it is a very useful tactic to learn in the game. It can make it a lot easier for tougher enemies. So we're gonna make our way through here. There's a couple little guys over here. Yep, took him out. And you got an arch over here. Oh, rolled too early. One of the biggest challenges that this game has is when you have enemies with like large windups and that sort of thing, you won't always know when they're going to actually let go of their attack, and it's not always consistent. So really don't try to dodge before the attack starts. There's certain enemies you want to though. You'll get a feel for it as you play more, but the idea is that you want to dodge as the attack starts, or at least right before it would connect with you. So we're going to do a jumping attack off here. This is that first boss that we kind of skipped earlier. So you can see that takes a huge chunk of his health out. Ideally you want to do this on any boss that has some kind of falling attack mechanic. this boss and the next boss actually have that sort of mechanic. And he's not even doing that much damage to us despite being naked. But he is designed to be very easy to beat for new players, so we're just going to whittle away at his health here. He's taking very big chunks. This is not common, by the way, unless you have a very big weapon and do a lot of damage. So don't get complacent that this boss is like going to be how the rest of the game goes. He's very easy compared to everything. Okay, so that gives us the big pilgrim key and humanity. Humanity isn't a mechanic we'll get into a bit later. This key will let us open up this door here, and will let us progress into the next section. So out here, there's really no secrets yet. There's like a message or two. We're just going to walk our way up here to the top of the cliff. And you're going to get a little cinematic. Now, I'm actually going to end up skipping most cinematics and dialogue, just because I've seen it a million times already, and I don't want to necessarily spoil it for people that might be new to the game. I mean, just watching me play might be a bit of a spoiler, but it's those little details. They're not really relevant to the game as a whole. Like this guy up here, the gist of what he tells you is you need to ring 2 bells, and basically gives you kind of a brief direction on where to go next. So, at this point I know where to go next, but there's actually several things I usually do when I start a character. There's a lot of collectibles and other hidden things to find that can make your early game a little more easy. So right here, right away, there's 3 humanity. That's very helpful. We run around up here. There's a couple other items to be found. I don't quite remember what is what exactly. I think these are fire bombs. Yeah, fire bombs. Cool. So these can be very useful for certain areas, like early stuff. Before enemies get a lot of health, you can actually use fire bombs to do a lot of damage to them and whittle them down. This guy is a cleric. Basically, he'll sell you miracles eventually. Miracles are holy magic, healing spells, that sort of thing. And then there's also arcane spells, which are your typical wizard and sorcerer archetypes. Down this way is a little secret area. That actually is a shortcut to another area later in the game, but we're not quite there yet, so we'll see that a little more later. So down here is several chests, homeward bone. Let's let you teleport to a recent bonfire, morning star, and talisman. Morning star is a decent weapon. It's like a solid mace with some bleed effect. Cracked red eye orbs, those let you invade another player's world, which is basically the PvP mechanic of this game. And over here is Lloyd's Talisman. This is an item you throw at an enemy player, and it will disable their use of the Estus Flask for however long the duration is. We're going to run back this way just to reset. Actually, there's a treasure up here we're going to get first. All the way up here. I think this is just a Souls item. Yeah, Soul of a Lost Undead. So there's several versions of these soul items. They basically just give you souls when you use them. So like that's worth, I think, 200 souls when you use it. And they go all the way up to giving you like 10,000 or 20,000. But those you won't find until later in the game. So right away we're going to go and give ourselves a little vitality. Gives us some more health. Makes us a little easier to survive. And then we're going to do what I call a suicide run, sort of, where we're going to run over to this... I'm going to get stuck on that, apparently. We're going to run over to the graveyard area, as I've called it. I'm going to check this over here. So this chest, I never really understood what the point of it was. It's open automatically. Check all these little cracks for openings and things. Nothing here. Okay. So we're going to make our way down to the graveyard area. There's a lot of items to be had, several good items as well. These skeletons are pretty tough early on. As you can see, I'm barely hurting them because I don't have my weapon upgrades. I don't have like a lot of stat points put into things yet. What you can really do though is, if you're careful, you can dodge through them, pick up a lot of these items. So they do a decent amount of damage. Not enough to just one-shot you though by any means. So like right here, this is a large skeleton, but he's guarding the winged spear, which is a very long spear. Can be very useful. Zweihander, very long sword. One of the first great swords you can get. Actually, it is the first great sword you can get. Binoculars. Binoculars don't have a lot of a use. There's little tricks you can do with them, like, I'm probably going to die here. Oh, maybe not. Can we weasel around? I think so. So what I'm doing is trying to run back to the bonfire. Ideally you don't want to die just because it's discouraging and annoying, but like at this point if I died it's not a big deal. I lose 121 souls. Not enough to do a whole lot with, so we're just going to make our way back here, try not to get caught by the skeletons, top off just in case they do catch me, because you can see those guys are rolling pretty fast. we jump from up here, they'll kind of get caught and their AI will get a little lost. That's good. So we'll run through here, down this way, and then to the bonfire. Now every time you hit a bonfire, it resets the zone. There's some enemies that don't respawn, like larger mini-boss type enemies. But most basic enemies, they do respawn. So, next thing we're going to do is walk down this way. There's a couple more areas here. This is a Firekeeper. She will actually reinforce your Estus Flask if you can find a Firekeeper soul. We do not have access to one just yet, but there is one down this way we're going to try to get, just to make the early game a little easier, like I was saying. A lot of this stuff is completely optional, of course. You don't have to do this in any particular order. These are just tricks and tips I found that make the game a little smoother. Because early on in the game is generally the hardest part. The later segments kind of get about the same difficulty. There's nothing really that's like too overwhelming. Down here we got a couple soul items, like Nameless Soldier. That's like 600 or 800, I think. I don't quite remember. These guys you don't have to kill. I just did it for the heck of it. They don't give, they give 20 souls, which is not very much. Now down here, I think, yeah, we do find it now. Okay, this guy here is a blacksmith. This is the first blacksmith you can find. Likely that you don't have any kind of fragments or anything to do anything to enhance your weapons, but he is here just so you know. And what he'll do as well is he can make your items into magic items, which scale off of your intellect stat. He also sells you some basic sorcerer gear if you want to get into a sorcerer but you didn't pick a sorcerer. For now though, we're just going to move along. Looking around here, there's a few items here and there, nothing spectacular. Like there's this item here, we're going to kill him just for the heck of it. You want to be very careful here. I've fallen off these ledges a lot, and you will just outright die. And this here, this pot, if you roll into it like that, or you can just swing at it, the corpse does have an item. It's pretty common for some corpses to be stored in jars like that, and then when you break them, they'll fall over and they have an item in them. So definitely check everywhere you can. Now, I don't know if you saw, but there was that white item light off to the right side there as we were walking onto the bridge. So what we're going to do is try to go and get that. Now, these ghosts here are hostile. They will try to attack you. What you can do is, the trick with them is you have to be cursed or you have to have the transient curse item. Now, we did just find 2 of those items, but we're not going to waste them right now because I was literally just trying to get this item. So there's a bunch there. I'm going to end up dying here. It's just inevitable. I can't roll through all these enemies, and they're going to be attacking too much. Yeah, so I died. No big deal. We're going to respawn. This was a suicide run, as I said. So, no big deal. I'm going to wait till we respawn. Alright, so we're back here now. We have a Firekeeper Soul. These allow you to get either 5 humanity, or you can use them to reinforce your Estus Flask. So once you've completely reinforced it, and say you're doing New Game Plus playthroughs and you start getting more, you can use them for humanity, if anything. So great, now we have a +1 flask. It heals like an additional 50 or 100 HP, something like that. So we're going to go back this way, because we're not going to go through the ghost area anymore, but there is another side path we can go to that has a couple items. There's like a fire dragon shield, something like that. We're not going to end up using it, but it's something I always like to get just for the heck of it. So we now have quite a variety of items. We're just going to stick to the sword, and we're going to test out the bow here on that one of the later enemies you'll see. So humanity. We've mentioned that a few times. We'll take a minute to talk about that since we have some downtime while we're walking somewhere. Humanity has a lot of different effects to it. The main thing you use it for is a resource to turn yourself human, which I believe does have some stat benefits as well. It also makes you look human. Like right now I look decrepit and undead. You'll actually look like what your character is meant to look like when you designed him, when you're human. And then you also can use it to kindle bonfires to make them stronger. Making them stronger just means you can get more flasks each time you sit down. Like the one in the Firelink Shrine by default will give you 10. Anything you find in later areas will generally only give you 5 at max. But if you say already have 6 or 7 flasks, it won't drop you down to 5, it's just you won't get any more. Eventually you can get an item that will allow you to buff it all the way up to 20, which is quite a bit, but you know, it's not really required. Just getting to 10 is usually enough for most areas. Alright, so up here we should see a zombie dragon looking thing. He's kind of hanging over the cliff here. He's got some treasure underneath him. We're going to try to grab that. So usually what I do here, you can see he does wake up and attacks, but what we tried to do there was just grab all the treasure as fast as we could. It's usually a good strategy for that. And just roll away here so we can heal up. He doesn't actually follow you, and his attack's pretty short range, but he is very dangerous. Now, it's difficult to fight him close up because of his attack patterns. One strategy you can do if you really want to kill him is to use like a short bow with a bunch of arrows and whittle him down. I think it gives about 3,000 souls, but it's something if you want to do it, because yeah, see there, I got clipped even though there wasn't even poison. We're just going to skip him for now and not worry about it. So we'll keep walking around this cliff here. Checking a few items. So that Dragon Crest shield we got, we're not going to use, but it is a very good shield if you want to use a shield in your own run. Has a really good fire resistance. So these are little drake things that shoot lightning out. And as you can see, they're very dangerous. I just immediately died to one. There's not a lot of stuff over here, so I wouldn't recommend going over here. It's quite dangerous early on. Come back later when you can have some upgraded weapons and you can kill those things in a few hits. So that's enough prep for now, I think. We're gonna go ahead and start towards the actual the next area. So up this hill here, several skeletons. Let's go and whittle them down. They're not too tough. Yeah, they have very long winded up attacks, so it's pretty easy to predict. Now up there you do have one throwing a firebomb down at you, so the best option is to kind of scoot up here, kill this guy with the axe. If I can target things properly. Yep, so we got them both at the same time. We'll go ahead and grab this guy. Now there was this other guy in the armor down here. We're going to go down here now and get him, but he doesn't actually chase after you unless you get close. He's a little bit stronger than the others, but still not very powerful. Alright, so we got him. Grab this little soul of lost undead. Now, this looks like you couldn't quite make the jump, and I didn't, so I died there. But you can actually make that jump with a little carefulness. So we'll go and respawn. I think we're going to run back over there and give that another try. So we're just going to rush through here, kill him. This guy jumps down after you, actually. Now, a better strategy here would be to scoot around them and maybe do a backstab or something like that. But I'm just trying to kill him head on for whatever reason. So I did strip myself just to get all the weight off I could. This makes you lighter and you can jump a little farther. So if you jump right over there, you can get over here. Scoot around the corners very carefully. And this one as well. And there is actually an item. This is a Ring of Sacrifice. This is one of the first rings in the game you can get. What this does is when you die, it'll break itself and let you keep your souls in humanity that you would have lost. Kind of useful if you are doing like a suicide run and you're pretty sure you're going to die and you don't want to go through the area again. Or you're fighting a boss for the first time and you don't want to lose your stuff. Doesn't give you any like stat boost or anything like that though. So we got that. We'll go ahead and make our way back up here. Take out these guys like we did earlier. This guy's going to dive down again. I've got him, so go up here, grab that item way over there. Yep, more souls items. Those are very common. Just another way to get more souls. Go ahead and unequip the short bow because we really don't plan to use it. Kill this little rat over here. More souls item, see what I mean? Very common. And you can see the ragdoll physics at work. So that door over there we can't open just yet. It's actually a shortcut we'll get access to later. Any door that says doesn't open from this side is guaranteed to be a shortcut of some sort. So we'll start making our way up here. More little zombie undead dudes. They swing very wildly, so just either want to get away or get a attack in quickly to kill them. Now, if we jump down here through these barrels, there's actually more items as well. We'll ignore those guys up top for now. There's some guys hanging over the ledge here. These are the very small undead, or the thin ones without any kind of armor, really. They're quite dangerous just because they're so wild and unpredictable, or in very large groups they can catch you. Back this way now are a few more enemies. We're going to take care of those and grab some items along the way. They are hanging along the ledge here. If you can hit them before they start to get up, you can actually knock them off. Once they get up the ledge, though, they get those invincibility frames. Now, an annoying bit in this game, if you should have noticed there, when I did kill the enemy, I was trying to push through him. You can't actually push through an enemy until you get the souls from it, or at least you'll see that animation or that little effect. That's a sign that the corpse will actually ragdoll essentially, and you can push past it. But so we got some humanity out there. That's good. There is another guy down there, but we don't need to go down there, so we're gonna go and skip that. And we'll make our way past here. We got this guy throwing firebombs. We'll just get it behind him and do a backstab. Very effective way to kill most enemies. Now, ideally, since I'm not using shield, I shouldn't try to block, but if all else fails, it is something that does reduce quite a bit of damage as far as just getting hits flat out, so it's something. Make our way up here. There's actually a little item back here, another soul item. Very, very common. Now, that ledge over there we can't jump to just yet. Make our way up here, and oh, there's a dragon. Now, there's no way to actually get up and hit him, as far as I can tell. Generally, if you're not guarding or something, your character will shake and you'll get stuck, and the dragon will have already left before you can even move. There might be a way to like time a throwing knife or something, but it's literally a once a game thing, so not something I've cared to test. Make our way up here. We have an archer up there, so we're just gonna scoot around and try to get him killed. This is one of the stronger enemies because you can tell from the thicker armor and that sort of thing. The ones wearing just like leather and clothes aren't as strong. Over here's a little wooden shield item. Again, we're not using shields, so we're not going to bother. And across that way is some spearmen. These guys are very defensive most of the time. Usually what you can do though is kick their shield up and get some swings in, or just slash multiple times to hammer them down. I'm just going to swing at some air here apparently. Oh, I was trying to get the kick mechanic right, and they just walked up and stabbed me. Oh well. Trying to get the kick mechanic to work. It's being a little finicky. There, we'll just backstab him then. That works just as well. Yeah, you can also just bait out an attack like that and then scoot behind and do a backstab. Might just be my controller. I was just having some trouble getting the kick animation off. Oh well then. So down this way is a few more items, as well as a shopkeeper, I believe. And then you got a little dude here. Some enemies back that way. I think the shopkeeper was right on this corner. This guy sells a few items. So you got the orange soapstone. This lets you drop messages down. We've got the repair box and a couple of things. Some shields, some different weapons. Nothing too crazy. I don't think we're going to end up buying anything. Yeah, just checking some of the statistics on the weapons here. Probably make an episode later talking about how some of the mechanics work and going a little more in depth for new players. We'll just go ahead and top off, make our way down this way, and go for a few items. Now there are a lot of those little guys in this pathway, so we want to be careful. And we're already off to a great start. Usually one hit will kill them, so we want to just try to get that swinging before they start getting their flurry of attacks off. And I timed it wrong again. That's alright. We got a few flasks still, and gotta get the hang of the timing. Best bet sometimes is just to attack first. Sometimes you can trade blows like that where you'll hit them and they'll hit you at the same time. And silly messages are just everywhere in this game. Make our way up here, and I think this is, yeah, so there's an item here. Some throwing knives, and we can actually jump down to that ledge there and get access to at least one more item. There's always plenty of stuff to explore and collect in this game, so definitely give everything a look when you're running through. As much as I played the game, I know there's stuff I've missed, so I'm always open to looking through new little areas and nooks and crannies to find things. Alright, make our way back through again. And I think we're now going to go to the next bonfire. Yeah. Right here is the bonfire for this area. As I've said, it's basically a checkpoint. Now this is one that by default only has 5 flasks. So what I recommend then is that if you're having trouble with this area, go ahead and buff up this bonfire a bit more, that way you can have some more flasks and make your job a little easier. So we'll make our way back out here. These guys do respawn because we touched the bonfire. So we'll go ahead and take care of these guys. Just like we did before, no big deal. Alright, gonna go and lure him up. He does have I do have issues with this one sometimes where if you go across the bridge without killing him, he'll follow you anyway. Oh boy, a short sword. Now, this is one of the, since this is the first Dark Souls, and Demon Souls had the same issue, you cannot properly dual wield. There's no like power stance or special power moves or whatever they were called in 3. If you dual wield, they basically act independently. Certain weapons you can parry with. There's still some uses for dual wielding, it's just kind of niche. Whereas in like Dark Souls 2, you can just power stance, whatever. So we'll go ahead and make our way back. Start going through this little room here. There's a couple skeleton guys in here. Or hollows, sorry. Whatever they're called, undead. That one's gotten me a few times. If you walk in there and don't look, he'll get you. Over here we got a chest. I believe this was the gold pine resin. Nope, black fire bombs. So these are just a little bit stronger than regular fire bombs. I don't think they have any additional effects beyond that. Up here, this area can be a little bit tricky. You got 3 guys. One of them is going to be throwing fire bombs, as well as fire bombs up on top of the house to the right. So usually what you want to do is lure these guys out, try to take them down, and then rush in and kill the fire bomb guy. Or get hit by him, you know. That's fine. It's got a battle axe. It's a decent weapon. Alright, here we go. So we're gonna go on top of this house here, just adjusting a few items. I always like to clear up my bags there just to have the essentials. Throwing knives are very useful in certain situations. We're going to try to use these to pick off these guys, because rushing in by yourself can be a little annoying. They'll all throw fire bombs at you, and if they all catch you, you take a lot of damage. So this works. We'll just whittle them down like that. Good deal. Now sometimes these guys drop fire. Yeah, fire bombs, awesome. So if you do need them for whatever reason, this is not a bad place to farm them. Now, am I crazy? No, we're not going to try to get that. No. Nope. If I could have maybe landed on the ledge, I might have been able to drop down and get it, but I'm pretty sure that area is considered like a, you know, the abyss, so you'll die. We'll go ahead and move along. Pop this door open. This lets us go down this way. None of the guys will shoot you here or do anything like that. Just grab some gold pine resin. This enchants your weapon with a lightning element. Makes it do more damage generally. Certain enemies are more effective or certain enemies are weak to lightning, so it is effective against them. Now, if I recall... Yeah, okay, so there's a crossbow guy up here. We're gonna go up here and kill him first, because otherwise he'll shoot down at you. Alright, make our way back down. Get behind this guy, maybe. Oh, we actually got the kickoff. Good deal. Get him killed. Got a few sword guys under here. And they will actually heal if you let them, so ideally just rush in, do a few swings, and kill them. Alright, now there's a trap up here, kind of like that boulder at towards the beginning of the game. We're going to ignore it right now. We're going to actually try to kill this knight here. What we'll do first is, I think we're going to try to chuck some fire bombs at him. If I can find them. There we go. Now this is just a drop-off, so this is not some hidden secret area. Don't let any messages tell you. You will die if you fall off. The only thing down here is the knight and the item after him. I'm going to use these to whittle him down a little bit. Yeah, they do pretty good damage. Yeah. Otherwise, he just takes quite a while to kill, and then if you mess up like once, he can potentially just outright kill you because his attacks do so much damage at this point. Yeah, those don't do much damage at all, so not even worth the trouble. Hey, look, we still remember how to parry. So this is a parry boss. These guys are very easy to tell once you get into the swing of things. See? So just baiting out his attacks that are easy to parry, you can do that and kill him. And hey, we got a Black Knight sword. Not something I'm going to be able to use just yet. It's got pretty high requirements. So it takes 20 strength and 18 dex. I only have 12 and 12 and 14 respectively. Oh, wait. Yep, looks like I forgot to go and get that item. There is actually a ring at the bottom where the knight was. It's the blue or red tearstone ring, which are... The red one increases your attack, the blue increases your defense, but they only activate when you are at low health. I'm not sure the threshold exactly. Now down there is another little area that goes off. That's where you can fight Havel to get his ring. We're not going to bother with that right now. I don't have trouble killing him. It's just if you mess up once, he generally one-shot you, and if you come back later, he's not too hard to kill anyway. And I don't need his ring, because what it does is increases your equip load by 50%. Makes it much easier to keep your good rolls if you are wearing heavier armor. That's not something we've really touched on, but like the veterans probably know what I'm talking about. You have an equip load stat where, based on your weight, the weight of your gear, that will slow you down. If your weight's too high, you'll roll kind of sluggishly and barely have any invincibility frames. If it's really light, like I'm doing now, you can almost like leap away or like dive roll, and then you get more invincibility frames. Havel's ring makes it easier to do that if you have a little heavier armor. So like if I got it, I could wear maybe heavier pants or use a bigger weapon, but I'm just not going to worry about it right now. I'll come back later. It is also possible, if you go down there, to skip this boss completely, make your way around and go to the later bosses anyway. But really, he's a good, I don't want to say first boss because the other demon was the first boss, but this is a good first boss out of the tutorial zone, because the other boss was a joke. Now this boss has the same kind of mechanic where you can do the falling attacks, and I guess I got clipped. Well, those are all kinds of glitches in these games, so not a huge deal. This tower over here does not have a ladder, so if you want to keep doing the falling attacks, you got to bait him up. Otherwise, you can try to do the dodging stuff down here. He's a very wide attack range, so getting inside his range and sticking to his feet is a good idea. That's what I mean. So ideally dodge right before you think you're going to get hit, and you usually won't. And I think I might end up dying here, but we'll go ahead and give it a good try. Now, I wish I would have remembered to show during this playthrough, but you can actually, if you stay up on top of that other tower, make him jump up there if you wait too long, and he'll just go ahead and you can fight him up there. And it's a much wider area, gives you more room to dodge, so if that suits your fancy, go ahead and do that. But otherwise you can keep baiting him like I'm trying to do, get the falling attacks. It's not the quickest way, but it is pretty safe. And it's pretty satisfying when you can do a diving attack. So we're going to do a diving attack. Yeah, see, we missed completely, so I'm just sorely screwing up here. Alright, so you want to bait him all the way to the other side, or at least a good distance away. Dodge his attacks, try to run through him. Now this is risky, like I'm just barely gonna dodge here. Yep. But if he's close enough, he will hit you and then punch you off of it. So be careful. I'm gonna do diving attack. There we go. So see, it does about a third of his health, so that's pretty good. Now we could go back and do this a bunch of times. I think I end up dying here by getting shoved off or something, but we'll see. Since this is a slower attempt, I'll go ahead and probably speed this part up. It's kind of just the same mechanic, baiting him back and forth, and eventually he can go down this way. Before you jump, you want to make sure he's as close as he can be, and then do the jump. There we go. But I really don't, the main thing is with this boss, I do not recommend trying to just fight him on the bridge. The area is very narrow, no room to dodge, sometimes you'll get stuck under his feet or you just can't move if you need to. And there are gaps like to the right there where you can just fall off, and we don't want that. Yeah, that's alright. That was pretty close. I got stuck on him. Oh, he almost jumped off. I've never seen him do that. I'm not sure if they can, but that kind of thing in this game will usually just let the boss die and then you win. Feels kind of cheap, but it's what it is. I'm trying to be careful here. As much as I do want to just kill him, you don't want to rush in for the killing blow and then get hit and killed yourself, especially when my HP is as low as it is. So yeah, that's got kind of like a lasting tremor effect, so you want to be careful with that. Oh, alright. Yeah, we'll probably speed that part, some of that stuff up, so just killed the first real boss. Humanity and a Homeward Bone. We're going to go and just move along. Yep, I did remember there is treasures behind that, thankfully. I think it's just a souls item, but yeah, so that's like 800 souls something, but not a big deal. Now the one thing you'll notice if you play this game, if you've played the other ones especially, is it's lacking a lot of quality of life features, like using multiple souls items at the same time. So this is Solaire. He will give you the sunlight, the white soapstone. This will let you actually co-op with other people. We're probably not going to do any of that during this playthrough. You can also co-op with him and other NPCs along the way. And then he's associated somewhat with a covenant called the, oh wow, I'm going to embarrass myself here. Warriors of Sunlight, there we go. Alright, so that's going to go and wrap it up for this episode of Dark Souls. Tune in next time when we continue on and hopefully get to a couple of more bosses. Thanks for watching.